Welcome back to another music marketing video. Bit of a different setup today. First time I've actually drawn a diagram in my life for any video, and probably might be my last, but I really wanted to get this point across for artists because I just think it is so important. Also, we've tried to put acoustic paneling on our walls to be able to get rid of this echo in this room since we got rid of the sofa setup. However, we asked you guys on Instagram for some recommendations of acoustic panels, and you guys being artists, you flooded our DMs with suggestions. So we have decided on some acoustic panels. So hopefully in a couple of weeks time, our videos will significantly improve in terms of the echo and in terms of that sound. But starting with this, I wanted to take you through the basics of being discovered and breaking as an artist, because I don't think it's necessarily clear for artists what actually happens in each of your aspects of your career and how they interlink. Because I get it a lot, whether it's in inquiries on our website or whether it's in Instagram DMs, we have artists saying things like, I've got 80,000 streams on Spotify, but no one's following me on Instagram. And I wanted to create this diagram, which was actually meant to be in a longer video. I've got a video coming in a couple of weeks time, which is going to cover starting as an artist from scratch and eventually breaking and getting 100 million streams. That could be about a 45-minute to an hour video. So I didn't want people to miss out on this topic just because they didn't want to sit through an hour-long video. But that video is going to be awesome, so do check it out when it goes live. So what artists often think is that at the start of your career, all of these things are going to interlink, but the truth is they don't. So what we've got is Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, word of mouth, live shows, press and radio, and TikTok. My favorite of all of these, if I could pick any one, it would be a close one between word of mouth and live shows, which, being a digital marketing agency in the music industry, you'd probably expect me to say something like Instagram, YouTube, or TikTok. However, I would say that to break an artist, the strongest is probably word of mouth, then live shows. Word of mouth, because if a friend has recommended an artist to you, it is much more likely that you are going to go ahead and listen. Not only that, you are considering that artist in a different mindset. Your friend has already, not social proof, but almost like artist proofed this, or quality proofed this particular track or this particular artist. Therefore, you're expecting it to be good. It's not like hearing a track on TikTok, hearing a track on a Spotify playlist where you think, I might like it, I might not like it. Word of mouth, you're already going into that track assuming that you're going to like it. So I think that's incredibly important. Live shows, mainly because the way that they convert, just amazing. So let's run through how this diagram actually works. So you've got Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, word of mouth, live shows, press and radio, TikTok. The black arrow going down is how far this alone will progress you in your career. So if you were to do nothing but Instagram, nothing else, you're on YouTube, you're on Spotify, but if you put all your efforts into Instagram only, how far that can get you towards essentially breaking as an artist and getting 100 million streams. So you've got your milestones here. You've got 100,000 streams, 1 million streams, and 100 million streams. You guys, you're all aiming for this. Might take several years to get there, but that's essentially what you're aiming for. When you hit 100 million streams, essentially I would expect you to have the same kind of numbers on, say, YouTube as well when you hit this. I'm looking at someone who is an artist. You're going to get a platinum record if you hit 100 million streams. You've broken. But what is happening in your career when you get there versus what was happening in your career early on? So let's take a look at it. What I want to represent in this diagram is that nothing is interlinked early in your career. Huge myth. As I said earlier, A lot of artists will come to us and say, look, I've got all these YouTube views and nobody's going to my Instagram, or I've got all these Spotify streams and nobody's going to YouTube. So let's take a look at them one by one. We've got Instagram. I think on Instagram, you can get yourself up to 100,000 streams with putting effort into Instagram content alone. I'd say that Instagram has got a lot better in terms of their organic reach in the last couple of months. They've brought in Reels, they've brought in IGTV, they've brought in that feature where if you get to the end of your feed and you've seen all the content that people you are following have posted, they will start recommending content from accounts you don't follow. Therefore, discovery on Instagram has got a lot better. I'd say before that feature, it would probably be about there, because your Instagram, if it's good enough, would actually be more so word of mouth marketing, because your Instagram content is so good, people are talking about it. YouTube, I would say that gets close to the YouTube is an incredibly powerful platform. It can get you close to 100 million streams by putting effort into your YouTube content alone, mainly because of their discovery algorithm. If you get your titling right, your thumbnails right, you can break as an artist, and many artists have done it through YouTube alone. Whether that is you performing your track, whether it's because you started as a cover artist, or whether the platform thinks your track is so good because everyone's always watching it, then it is playing your track on autoplay after a big artist track, and people can't be bothered to switch it because they've got music on in the background while they're working, so it just flows into your track. Spotify is a strange one because, well, you'd think that I would say that, well, we're measuring it by essentially streams. This doesn't have to be Spotify. It can be any DSP. So Apple Music and Deezer included as well. Most of you guys ask us about Spotify, so I just put Spotify there. But what's interesting about Spotify is that, yes, okay, if you were to hack Spotify, say you got your friends together, you put on some black masks and you went at midnight and raided Spotify's office, you hacked one of the computers, and then you managed to put yourself on every single playlist on Spotify. Yeah, you'll get to 100 million streams. Are Spotify going to put you on enough playlists in the real world only for you to get 100 million streams and essentially break as an artist? When I'm saying 100 million streams, I'm saying you've broken as an artist, and everyone's playing on you on the radio, people are watching you on YouTube, Instagram, it's all flowing. Everything's happening. You can do whatever you want as an artist. People are going to listen to you because your brand is that strong. That's what I see here. And I don't think Spotify can get you there. I think it can get you pretty close. But if you haven't got a good brand, if you haven't got good content around it, and people can't invest in you as an artist in any way and decide to come to your live shows, then no, I don't think Spotify alone can break you as an artist. Word of mouth, absolutely. Like I said earlier, it's the strongest one. It goes all the way to the bottom. Live shows, you're gonna get live shows early in your career. They're not going early in your career. The live shows aren't gonna do that much. You might get your friends and family down to a few live shows. You might get yourself on a smaller kind of one of those like festival nights in a small venue or something like that. It might get you maybe 300, 500 streams, something like that. But unless you are damn good and suddenly it kicks in word of mouth and it goes to here somehow, I don't see it. However, later in your career, festivals and live shows are actually what breaks you. So if you've hit 100,000 streams and maybe you're on about 500,000 streams here, suddenly live shows can really skyrocket you in order to get you to being 100 million streams, because it gets people talking about you, and it also gets people to invest in you as an artist, and they remember you. Press and radio, it's a great thing to kick you off, get your first amount of streams, get some online presence, but I wouldn't say that it does anything any further. That's when all of this stuff starts to kick off. So press and radio, good thing to kick off. Radio on rotation, I'd say, is different. I'd say further down here, if we're talking about radio on rotation, those major stations, you're played literally 3 times a day on that station. Yeah, that will get you further here, but I'm talking more kind of like earlier in your career here. Finally, TikTok. Yes, if you have a track that goes viral, if you have a trend that goes viral, it can get you pretty close, because TikTok is a platform where people are consuming it with the sound on, and therefore, because they've got the sound on, they're expecting to hear music, and because it's a trend, you hear that track again and again and again until it gets stuck in your head. You start to like the track, and therefore it starts to trigger these other things. So for me, I would say TikTok can get you pretty damn close. Again, I haven't got this stuff, you're not going to break as an artist. You need everything else as well. So the final part of the diagram is these connectors here. So when exactly does, for example, YouTube start to trigger Spotify? When does Spotify start to trigger your Instagram growth? So as you can see, nothing happens at the top. Everything is just completely parallel. You are trying to grow your Spotify and trying to grow your Instagram, but don't expect them to influence each other. You've got people discovering you on Instagram and you've got people discovering you on Spotify. Trying here to get people to go to your Spotify is incredibly difficult. It's doable, but these arrows here are the trigger points when it starts to influence it. And Instagram here, yes, you could maybe get some people to your Spotify who haven't heard you already, but it's very difficult and it's not worthy of an arrow to go there. So when does Instagram start to trigger? And I would say it is past the 1 million streams. Like I said, Instagram is a very weak platform in terms of engagement. Therefore, to really start to be able to send your fan base to the likes of YouTube and Spotify, it is quite late on. You can get people to Spotify to listen to your music and after around 100,000 streams, but to get people to your YouTube needs a lot of investment because they've probably already consumed a lot of your content, they've heard your music. Very, very difficult. So don't be disheartened if you have, say, 2,000 followers on Instagram and you can't get them across to YouTube. It doesn't happen until very late in your career, because when they're engaged enough, that's when they go and see the music video. For example, you can start to tease the music video because your fan base is that engaged. If you've been doing some like black hat marketing in terms of like buying fake followers, you're in an engagement pod, or you are or you've been following and unfollowing, then it's going to be much, much later, way later. Maybe you'll never even get there because your engagement will be so low. So do be careful early in your career. The strategies that you start to implement here are really going to affect you down here. So don't try and give in to your ego by doing black hat shortcut marketing here, because really it doesn't matter. You're not going to break as an artist when you get here, and it really does impact everything here because you set the foundations. So YouTube, I said, is the most powerful platform because people are engaged. They're discovering music. It's free. Everyone has YouTube. So I would say it is one of the most powerful things. So quite early on in YouTube, it is going to start to trigger your Spotify. People are going to discover you. They're ready to discover new music when they are consuming music content on YouTube, and therefore they are going to go and save your track on Spotify, because when they're on the move, they might want to start listening to your music. Again, it's the same with Instagram. If you can engage people on YouTube pretty early on, they will go and follow you on Instagram. Little tip there, which will be in the longer video, is that for YouTube to get people across to Instagram, you have to give them a reason. And the reason is not to just say, follow me on Instagram. It's not enough. You've got to either two things: give people something exclusive to go and follow you on Instagram, something different that they're not going to see to the YouTube, or you have to portray personality. And personality is quite more-ish, it's quite infectious. People want more of it, therefore they go across to your YouTube to have a little bit more of you and get some bite-sized bits of that content. So if you can show personality, or you can show something controversial, something that they're going to want more of, then that's what gets them across. Music alone won't get them across to Instagram. So Spotify, very, very late on. Because people don't go to your about section and go and hit follow just because they like a track. It doesn't work like that until very, very late on when they want to start coming to your live shows and they want to start investing in you as an artist because you've been on so many Spotify playlists. You've had 10 releases that have been on New Music Friday and all those official Spotify playlists. That's when they start to come across because they hear about 5 of your tracks across the span of a year, and then they say, you know what, every single track has been amazing by this artist, so I'm going to drop them a follow on Instagram, YouTube a little bit earlier because maybe they want to see the music video or they just want to save the track in a different way. But for Spotify, despite how powerful that platform is for music discovery, getting it to Instagram and YouTube is actually a lot later on. Word of mouth, again, maybe word of mouth gets you to the Spotify, maybe it gets you to YouTube, but not enough to put the arrow there. The arrows are way further down where you pass 100,000 streams, you're a bit more kind of social proofed, and therefore people are going to start coming across and talking about you, and they will likely link, they won't link your Instagram unless your Instagram content is amazing and funny or something that they've never seen before. Maybe later on you'll start getting people across your Instagram, but mainly when people talk about you, they'll link your Spotify or they'll link the track on YouTube. So it is essentially the most powerful one and the most engaged one. Live shows, I said, don't start until later on, but wow, so powerful. When you are later on in your career, you're gonna be getting people to your YouTube, to your Spotify, to your Instagram, so engaged because the likelihood is they are going to see the show and they want to know about you as an artist beforehand. Maybe you've got a good support slot. Maybe you've got a festival slot. People are going to listen to those festival-based playlists. They're going to want to know what your Instagrams are like. They want to know what time you're on. So therefore, to stay updated, they're going to go to your Instagram. Press and radio, like I said, it doesn't really kickstart enough in order to get an arrow anywhere. It's worth doing, but it's not worth investing everything into it. TikTok, have you noticed that nothing necessarily goes to TikTok? People don't listen to you on Spotify and go and see if you're on TikTok. However, TikTok is so powerful on its own that it can get you known as an artist, and then suddenly things start happening. So in the longer video, I'm going to cover all of these individual things in detail, explaining to you exactly how to exploit them, how to break as an artist using each of them. So look out for that. I hope you found this video useful. I hope it focuses your mind, especially if you're a new artist and you're a bit demotivated about these things not being linked. It gives you an idea of what to expect when. I'll take a photograph of this diagram right now and I'll stick it on our website and I'll link it down below. Hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you in the next video, which will likely be the longer one.